Welcome once again, welcome one and all once again to another W-Series breakdown. Still counting down to the green. Yes, I missed a couple of days. Counting down to lights out to be exact. Yesterday, had some things to do. It's just time. I had to wait around as well. There was stuff getting done to the house, so there was a lot of noise. I was able to stream, but was not able to break some more stuff down or even do the simulation, which I plan on kind of doing here a little bit later on if possible. And then of course we're just breaking down a bunch of articles here today. We're going to give our predictions for tomorrow. Our whole stream will be based off of one thing only: breaking down the qualifying results, breaking down the practice results too, because those will be very important. We break down both of those things. We'll get that pretty much done. I'm sure qualifying will be around 12 noon my time. I'll have to check on that, so it'll be perfect timing. I'll watch that. I'll try and watch some practice too, so that's going to be a big thing. We get watching with all of that stuff and then breaking it down without showing you any video. That's going to be key. Now, Jamie Chadwick was interviewed today. We don't know what exactly she says. She had some good quotes in hers. Hopefully we have a press release to read, so that's going to be a big thing as well to kind of break down, see what all the drivers are saying about this weekend. We know what I would want to say front office, but what the owners, what the leaders of this league have been saying. They're saying that this is going to potentially be the biggest race of ever in their series. That's a possibility. That's potentially what it is, the biggest race. But who knows? Who knows if that's going to be the biggest race? Who knows if this is going to be the biggest race, to be exact? Yes, you got 6 British drivers taking the grid today in the W-Series race. And we'll go even alphabetically here. Abby Pulley, Abby Eaton, Alice Powell. So that is 3. Then it's Jessica Hawkins. That is 4. Sarah Moore is 5, and Alice Powell is 6. That is the whole. I take that. Alice Powell is 5, and Sarah Moore is 6 for the alphabetical order. Let's be more clear. It's all alphabetical is what I was trying to do there, for no reason other than to just make that list fun, because why not do some alphabetical order? But like I said, 6 British drivers taking the grid. We don't know where they're going to start. We don't know where they're going to place tomorrow. That's going to be decided. So it's going to be very exciting. I don't know what to expect. That's my point here. I actually forgot to look up one thing. And this is going to be most likely what the weather is going to be at Silverstone. Officially 2 days left until the race. 1 day left until qualifying, and it's already the evening, so we can get a more accurate representation of what the Silverstone weather forecast is going to be for this weekend. And we've got some exciting news. Looking at the weather. 62 degrees Fahrenheit. But we click on this. Go into weather.com. We're going to figure this out together. Lots of rain around the area. This is today's weather. May I remind you, tonight's, to be exact, this is a little buggy of a site here. This is actually much better. This is, I believe, from the Weather Channel, the TWC. So, again, they've already, it's basically the evening and I believe the night. They're in the UK. But in Silverstone, specifically, 94% humidity, ugly, but 50 degrees Fahrenheit with a few showers, early becoming steady rain overnight, low near 50 degrees Fahrenheit, winds light and variable. The winds are west-southwest to 6 miles per hour, and 89% precipitation. It's happening. And Friday, they're going to have morning showers, 40% chance of rain, so it could miss them, potentially, for the morning. On this Friday, 68 degrees Fahrenheit is what their high is supposed to be, 50 is supposed to be their low. But wind southwest up to 13 miles per hour, so that's going to be big. The winds will probably be up to that much around the whole day. It's not strong, but you and I both know, as a racing fan, as a person who follows racing a lot, winds affect the way that your race car handles. They have to think, these teams have to think, even though the data gets spread out, you want to set up your car to be fast on that Saturday. So we look at what Saturday's weather is. It looks like there's going to be more rain, and that's 81% with showers. So this is going to be a wet race as it stands. A rainfall race. They're going to be an early race at around potentially 10 a.m. their time, if not a little bit later, like 12 p.m. We can actually check this real quick because I don't entirely know when the race is scheduled to, they're scheduled to grid up and all that. Let's just go to races here. July 1st and 2nd. So the 2nd of July is when that race happens, and that's what I'm trying to find. So July 1st, their practice. This is their my time. Fudge. I am watching FP1 live, at least. I'll watch it later. Maybe I'll be up by that time. Maybe I can watch it. But I doubt I will be up at 2:40 a.m. and 3:10 a.m. to 3:10 a.m. to watch that practice. Maybe. That's a possibility for this guy right here. For me. But qualifying, though, 12:25 p.m. and 12:55 p.m. I will be up for. And then the race, 7:25 and 8 a.m. Definitely will try and most likely will be up for that for a live one. So there's hopes that we may get a Saturday showing, something that I have not necessarily done. And then, of course, trying to get that out for potentially Sunday or potentially Monday, just on the 4th of July, so that everybody has something to watch on YouTube. I do try and share these out to YouTube, Theoverreactedgamer, !YouTube, if you're curious. You can subscribe to that and listen if you don't listen live, and that's why I do these. But so exciting to know that most likely I'm going to be able to watch qualifying live. And if you all want me to, tomorrow, there can be a slight chance, actually a very good chance, I'll be eating lunch, but not that I'm going to be streaming this, because it's ESPN and that is completely copyright, and, well, that would be stupid on my part. But what I can do is turn on my face cam. And I know for a fact it is broadcasted around the world, and again for ESPN in the United States. Therefore, I can turn on my face cam and watch it live with you all and see, oh, shucks. Oh, this is what's going to happen. This is who's starting on pole. This is what's, going through everything. So if you all want to, that's what I can do. I can even write it. If you don't follow me on Twitter, !Twitter, JakeByoung456, and I can do a poll there, or pull a poll right here. But enough about this little rant. I just wanted to see the times, what are going live for where I live. Our local time, I want to see when it will be 8:49 or 8:40 a.m., 9:10 a.m. That's what I thought. Qualifying around 3:25 to 3:55, and then the race the next day. $13.25. So 1:25 to 2. Oh yeah, because they use that 5 minutes to kind of get everything started up, then lined up, and then take off. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. But yeah, drop of the time at 3. Or drop the time at 1:30. Okay. I just wanted to know what time, all that started. So that's a good preview of what to expect. But again, we go back to it. I don't have the hour by hour time of when the rain's going to hit. Maybe we can try and get that here. Not going to be an hour by hour. But yeah, their high 68 and their high for Saturday is 65. 81% chance of rain, and that's something that these drivers, these teams will have to keep an eye on for the next day. Do they want to set it up for a rain, for the race car in the rain? Or do they want to set up their race car for the dry, which is a very big risk at the moment. You're gambling hard, or not hardly. You are definitely gambling for this race, and that's where a big curveball is thrown in. And we look at the way that Jamie Chadwick has raced in the rain before. The best example, going to Spa-Francorchamps last season. Now, Spa-Francorchamps, we can look at the WSeries, and we can look at what happened that last season at that race in 2021. Yes, we all know how it finished, but how did we get to that point, and what was it like at Spa-Francorchamps? That's the best gauge that we have for rain, with the 5th round being at Spa, and Kimmelainen ended up winning this race. So that's a good example of what happens with rain. Where did Kimmelainen, how did all that happen? We try to view all of that. Okay, well, Jamie Chadwick finished 2nd with Martha Garcia finishing 3rd, so look out for Martha Garcia now, because she can be a rain master. But in that qualifying that we know was rain, and we know had a big old red flag with the pileup, Jamie Chadwick did end up qualifying on pole. So kind of take back a little bit of what I said, but remind ourselves that Jamie knows her way around a wet racetrack. Alice Powell, 2nd. Nere Amarte, 3rd. And then a driver who's going to be in the commentary box was Caitlin Wood. So Caitlin Wood knows a bit about weather racing, so I'm really going to enjoy the commentary box for practice and qualifying. If I'm not mistaken, for that first day, it's just going to be Naomi Schiff and Caitlin Wood. No, what's his face? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Great guy, great racer, and really knows what he's talking about when he's in the booth. No David Coulthard, which is kind of nice too. WSeries knows how to put together a perfect team when it comes to being in the commentary box, because they give a lot of great insight into their racing, and Naomi Schiff doing very well with play-by-play. all of them keep up with the great work in that commentary box. But that's something that you can look forward to, look up to. I'm going to try to get this up tonight so that, this can be up by the morning and people can listen to this, especially in the British European regions. Even early in the morning for somebody to wake up and listen to this. I tried to get this done by yesterday. Ran out of time and mismanaged time big time. But again, we continue on. So that's something to look up to for the rain. How do you set up your race car as a driver and as a team from the engineer knowing that there's going to be rain? But 81% chance of precipitation on race day is the key highlighting fact of this whole thing. Saturday, September 2nd. The 2nd of September. Wow. Of July. 2nd of July. We see the showers. That's a big thing. It's going to be difficult to also manage that with also managing the wind. That big thing with the rain is how much downforce you want to add to your race car there to make sure that it can go well. All these drivers will be looking for space on their qualifying lap, but in the end it matters. Can you make your car work in traffic? I think, yes, drivers will get more of their spots by being able to stay on track. I think it's going to be a race where a lot of drivers will be running wide and losing a little bit with aquaplane if the rain gets bad. It doesn't look like it's just a simple little shower. I think it's going to be a good steady rainfall that's going to make a couple of places a little treacherous, especially near cups. And if we talk about Brooklyn too, it's going to be around those spots where it's heavy. Normally you go flat out, you're going to have to be backing off a lot more than expected. So just look out for those types, just that race in general, those racing. So we got partly cloudy though on the Sunday, which it won't matter because it's not a double header. The only two double headers that we have were Miami and I believe the final round or the final track, which will be at Mexico City, Mexico. As it stands, they will be heading to Mexico for the final race, or Hermanos Rodriguez circuit. Hopefully that does hold up, because that would be something very big. And of course, as we get closer to that, I'll talk more on why I think that's such a big deal for the W Series, to make sure that their end goal, not their end goal, but that they make it to Hermanos Rodriguez circuit and they race there. It shows a lot of pride in considering that there's at least 3 openly gay racers on this series. That's major. And again, I'll explain that a lot later. If you all follow me, you all know exactly the reason why, but I will explain that a lot more. Moving on. I get into a couple of rants, which are crazy, but I wanted to break down some more things as we hear a loud truck near my house, because that's where I live. A lot of loud trucks. So what is the W Series about? As I have just break this down very quickly. The W Series inaugural season was 2019. Its country is international. It races alongside F1 the first ever year. It raced with the DTM series. They went around, I believe, 8 racetracks. Or not 8 racetracks, but 8. It was not 8. Well, let's actually see here. So yeah, it was launched in 2018, but inaugural season was 2019. They weren't able to do it in 2020, so they had to take a year off due to COVID. 2021 was their inaugural season with F1, but their second full-time season in general. Their chassis is the carbon fiber monocoque, and engine displacement is a 1750 cc, a 1750 cc, 107 cubic inches, DOHC inline 4. Aspiration single turbocharged, direct fuel injection, 45.5 liters, 12 US gallons. The fuel is Aero Ultimate 102 RON unleaded. Weight is 565 kilograms, 1,246 pounds. Power output is 270 horsepower to 101 kilowatts. Width is 1,850 millimeters, 73 inches. Wheelbase is 2,900 millimeters, 114 inches. Gearbox is a SAT of 6-speed paddle shift gearbox plus 1 reverse. And the steering is power assisted rack and pinion. Both years have been Jamie Chadwick winning the championship. We do not count 2020, even though they did do an E-Series league, and that was won by Bikes Kvisser. First year, they went to Hockenheim Ring, Circuit Zolder, Misano World Circuit, Norris Ring, the TT Circuit, Assen, and Brands Hatch. Then, 2021, they went to the Red Bull Ring, Silverstone Circuit, Hungaroring, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, Circuit Zandvoort, and Circuit of the Americas with a doubleheader there. And then Miami International Autodrome for 2022, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. And their next actually 2 races will be Circuit Paul Ricard. So they're not going to Hungaroring like I thought, but Circuit Paul Ricard. And then Suzuka Auto International Racing Course and Autodromo and Hermanos Rodriguez is where they are planning on finishing their season. But again, it's Circuit of the Americas. That will be before Hermanos Rodriguez circuit there in Mexico City. So a lot going on in general for this series. Jamie Chadwick holds the race points lead, like we said. I wanted to tell you about what their car was. Oh, there it is. Constructors is Tatas, Alfa Romeo, and Toyota now, officially. Hankook Tires, Jamie Chadwick, WSeries champion, international. Again, single-seater. That's about the history. That's about all the history that they have with this series, so we move on. It's been pretty interesting. We go back to the WSeries now, and we talk about their latest news, what they are saying about this weekend, what everybody's saying. WSeries and Puma have gone rainbow for Silverstone, and this is pretty interesting. I want to read up on this. Big, avid supporter of LGBTQ plus for me. So this is big again, and the first thing that they have is a picture of Abby Eaton, Sarah Moore, and Jessica Hawkins. This was by the 30th of June, written on the 30th, so today was actually edited and released. WSeries announces that its paddock will proudly display the rainbow logo at the 4th race of the 2022 season at Silverstone in support of Pride. Throughout Throughout Formula One Lenovo British Grand Prix 2022 weekend, W Series drivers will wear gloves, boots, and fireproofs with the rainbow logo provided by global racewear partner Puma. The W Series logo on the Taurus T318 Formula 3 race cars will also change to rainbow for the series home race, which coincides with Pride in London, the UK's biggest and most diverse Pride, on July 2nd. Interesting. So just past Pride Month, but they're still showing their support for that July 2nd race. Sarah Moore, one of 6 British drivers of the W Series, and who, along with teammate Abby Eaton, is a driver ambassador for Racing Pride, which promotes LGBTQ+ inclusively within motorsport, will also debut a Pride-themed helmet at her home race. On 26 June last year, Sarah became the first openly LGBTQ+ driver to stand on a podium at an F1 race weekend, and she will go for the second podium finish of her W Series career at Silverstone. British fans can watch the 4th race of the 2022 W Series season live from Silverstone on Sky Sports main event, Sky Sports F1 Sky Showcase, and Channel 4 from 13:10 BST on Saturday, 2nd of July, with qualifying live on Sky Sports F1 and Sky Showcase at 18:10 BST on Friday 1st. W Series practice session will be streamed live globally across our YouTube channel from 8:40 BST on Friday, July 1st. The action can also be seen across W Series digital and social channels, as well as being broadcast in more than 175 territories. For the full list of where you can watch your location, visit our broadcast page here. So that's on the W Series website. Here's what the Chief Executive Officer of the W Series and Chair of the Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee Motorsport UK said, which is Catherine Van Muir. W Series has done things differently as we aim to rethink racing, and we pride ourselves on the open and inclusive nature of our paddock. It's great to see our fans and partners also embracing our values, and I'm delighted that long-term partner Puma are supplying our drivers with racewear carrying the rainbow logo in celebration of Pride at Silverstone. It promises to be W Series' biggest event to date, with more eyes on us than ever before, as the race is broadcast live across both Sky Sports and Channel 4 in the UK. I'm also incredibly proud that Sarah Moore, a true trailblazer for LGBTQ+ women in motorsport, will get to debut her new Pride-themed helmet in front of a packed crowd at her home race. So Sarah Moore Scuderia W228 UK said, "We don't have a race during the Pride month of June this year, but I still really wanted to do something to celebrate it. My old helmet has the rainbow on it, and I wanted to upscale that design to something bolder and louder. I asked Abby Pulling for help, who is great with helmet designs, and the new one incorporates more to do with Pride. It's more colorful, features the progress flag as well as the rainbow, and still has the Yorkshire Rose on it. Yorkshire Rose, an elephant for my mom, and a white tiger for my wife, Carla." Super special. And real quick, just to pause on what I'm saying here, it's really cool that she asked Abby Pulling for help. They've been so close, and it's been so cool to see the progression of their friendship, especially this past 2 years, just grow with them messing about on iRacing, messing with each other and hosted sessions and anything like that, really wanting to race. And of course, with the join of Alice Powell and all of that, it's really cool how close they are and how special it would be for all three of those drivers to be on the podium. Alice Powell, Abby Pulling, and Sarah Moore, especially this race weekend. It's going to be very cool. We'll see what happens here. But continuing on with Sarah Moore's quote, "The rainbow gloves, boots, and fireproofs are a great touch from Puma. I always carry the rainbow, but for everyone else to be carrying it shows that we're all aligned in the W Series paddock, which is great. I'm really looking forward to my home race at Silverstone and for everyone to be rocking the rainbow with me." Mara Everett, senior brand strategist, Women's Performance Puma, said, "While June is an opportunity to celebrate and recognize the strides towards equity and community, it's our responsibility as a brand to support and advocate for the LGBTQ plus community year-round. Puma is proud to support the W Series mission of inclusivity through the co-created Pride-inspired boots and gloves the drivers will be wearing at Silverstone." Richard Morris, co-founder Racing Pride and chair of the LGBTQ plus subcommittee Motorsport UK, said, "Racing Pride is grateful for W Series support and our vision to promote LGBTQ plus inclusion through motorsport." Racing Pride is grateful for W Series support for our vision to positively promote LGBTQ plus inclusion through motorsport. "We are delighted to have two of our Racing Pride ambassadors, Sarah Moore and Abby Eaton, racing in W Series, and it is wonderful that support for Pride will be shown across the drivers at the British Grand Prix. We are also very excited for the debut of Sarah's fabulous new helmet." So yeah, it says a lot about these groups of drivers and everything. Really cool. So apparently it's only Sarah Moore. I thought it was more drivers that are openly gay, so no, it's just Sarah Moore. I believe it is what it sounds from here, which is completely fine. I thought it was the other way around as well as Moore, but just Sarah Moore here. Really big, and I understand where everybody's coming from, especially the W Series. Not for this, but just that they're saying that this is going to be our biggest event yet. I completely forgot that it's also broadcast in two places, not just one in the UK. Like, that's if for NASCAR, NBC Sports and Fox Sports got the rights to stream the NASCAR race, which would be crazy because I feel like it would just be pulling against each other and not necessarily being able to unite. But it's cool that it's on two places. I'm guessing one is easier to access than the other. The other is probably more for cable, or you have to pay. Very big thing for them, and that is super cool to see. Not really going to cover the Courtdale Racing W Series team launching NFTs. I don't feel like it's necessary for this weekend. I want to focus on just Silverstone itself, so we'll see. Here it is, true. Chadwick is looking for her 6th straight race win this season. Real quick, yeah. What's up, Harm? Thank you for tuning in. Always great to see you back here, covering more of the W Series. Like I said, counting down the days or just now hours till the lights out. So yeah, about 1 day and 11 hours or so till lights out in the race, but doesn't mean that we don't have practice tomorrow in qualifying, so that's going to be exciting. I'll break down all of that tomorrow like I have said before, but that's going to be exciting. So here now we're focusing on talking about Jamie Chadwick. Jamie Chadwick looks to have 6 straight race victories in a row here, dating back to last season. Her two last race wins actually came off of at Circuit of the Americas, winning both of those and then winning the crazy doubleheader at the Miami Grand Prix, which those 2 races were insane as well. If you want to listen back to that, I broke all of that down in the first WSeries video off of YouTube. But we go back to it being so crazy because, I mean, Emma Kimalainen talked about it. Jamie Chadwick talked about it. All the drivers that were on that podium talked about it, saying, we did not expect ourselves to be on the podium or even on the top step, which was Jamie Chadwick being on that top step of the podium due to Emma Kimalainen kind of being offline, outbreaking herself, and losing her spot at the podium in the first race, and then in the second race not being able to drive back up there and getting on the podium. And Jamie Chadwick just taking off because she had the second fastest lap. That's what happens in WSeries, or in a double header. You run, and your 2 fastest laps will be your starting spots for both races. So yeah, pretty normal in my eyes for that. But yeah, 6 weeks since Jamie Chadwick continued her perfect start to the 2022 WSeries season by winning the 3rd race of the year in Barcelona, Spain. The reigning double champion will attempt to extend her record-breaking run of WSeries race victories to 6 at her home race at Silverstone this race weekend. If the previous race in Spain is anything to go by, there is every chance that the crowd, which is expected to exceed 400,000 spectators across the Formula 1 race weekend, that is a key thing to say. And real quick on that, I think every race this season has had about that number 4 just in general this series. I mean, Barcelona, we go back to it, they had their largest crowd ever in a long time. The F1 USGP at Circuit of the Americas just missed the 400,000 officially mark, but was about 380,000. So again, it goes back to competing for US. Who's going to have that bigger crowd? Is it going to be the Indy 500 or is it going to be the USGP? But yeah, it's crazy. Now, what's going to be the biggest British event of the year? Is it going to be the Silverstone Grand Prix? Or really, I can't think of anything else. That's this year. Last year was, the England, the Euros, UEFA Euros. Y'all know how that went, and then Italy missing the World Cup. But again, getting a little sidetracked here. But yeah, expected to exceed 400 spectators across the Formula 1 weekend, Grand Prix weekend. We'll see a British driver stood atop the WSeries podium. Jamie just held off compatriot Abby pulling at the Circuit de Barcelona de Catalunya, where Alice Powell was 3rd. That trio occupies the top 3 spots in the championship standings at the same order. Abby trails Jamie by 37 points and will look to reduce the areas by taking her maiden WSeries victory at Silverstone, the circuit where she finished 8th on her WSeries debut last July. Abby's mentor, Alice, dominated her home race 12 months ago, taking pole position and recording the fastest lap on her way to an emotional victory watched by her family in the grandstands. The top 3 will be joined by 3 more British drivers looking for a home win on the 3.660 miles, 5.891 kilometers Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. There may have been no WSeries races in June, but throughout Pride Month, Yorkshire-born teammates Sarah Moore and Abby Eaton have been busy on their roles as driver ambassadors for Racing Pride, a movement which promotes LGBTQ plus and inclusivity. So yeah, inclusivity. So very cool on that. Within motorsport. Okay. On the 26th of June last year, Sarah became the first openly LGBTQ plus driver to stand on a podium at an F1 race weekend. And she will go for the second podium finish of her WSeries career at Silverstone. So very interesting there already. The same is true for Jessica Hawkins. The Aston Martin F1 team's driver ambassador recorded her best WSeries result, second and maiden podium finish at this year's opening race in Miami. She is 8th in the championship standings after the first 3 races. So it seems like she was dating her, but I'm confused now. I'm confused. Is it also Abby Eaton? Is it also just Hawkins, or is it just Sarah Moore who's openly gay? It's confusing because I've seen them. I believe all 3 are openly gay. Like, go back to it because I've seen it on Instagram. Like I said, I'm in support of it. It's just, are they or are they not? Besides Sarah Moore, it's confusing. Either way, the Silverstone race will be broadcast live on Sky Sports and Channel 4 in the UK for the first time and feature an all-female presenting team of Naomi Schiff, Lee McKenzie, and Amy Reynolds. It is the second of 4 straight WSeries races in Europe with events in single-seater Motor Racing Championship for female drivers, which has its headquarters in London, UK. Will stage a race in Asia for the first time in support of October's Japanese Grand Prix before finishing the season in the USA and Mexico. Supposed to be. So let's hear what Jamie Chadwick had to say, or let's read what Jamie Chadwick had to say. Never in my career have I had such a good start to a season, and I'm pleasantly surprised with how well it's going. I have momentum and I feel confident, but I know things can change quickly, and I'm under no illusion because there are still lots of races to come. Coming into the season, I had only ever won the championship, and so there was only one position I wanted to finish the season in: first. Repeating that success wasn't going to be easy, but I came in with confidence, having won it twice and knowing what I'm capable of achieving in this series. After making such a good start, I want to keep pushing. I'm not thinking about the points gap or the championship standings. I'm just thinking about getting the maximum out of the car every weekend and winning as many races as I can for the rest of the year. Right now, I have lots of confidence in the car, and I feel like I can deliver my best every weekend. I'm looking forward to being back at Silverstone, where I have some unfinished business after last year when I didn't have my strongest weekend. I was disappointed not to be on the top step of the podium. on that occasion, and that's what I'm aiming for this year. I'm looking forward to racing in front of a big home crowd, which will include my parents who couldn't come to any of the races last season and will be watching me live for the first time in more than 2 years. It will be really special to have them and lots more of my family and friends with me at Silverstone, and it's great to be part of the British Grand Prix weekend. It's a circuit I know well and that I enjoy driving. It's really fast and quite different to what we've experienced so far this season in Miami and Barcelona, but I'm happy with how the car is set up, and I'll take everything I learned from last year and try to enter the race with a fresh approach. Here's the thing. This was... We'll go before we talk about Abby Pulling or what she had to say. This was posted 2 days ago, the 28th of June. Why that's such a big deal is because the forecast changed tremendously. Tonight in the UK, rain. Tomorrow in the UK, 40% chance of qualifying being a wet qualifying with 13 miles per hour wind. Saturday, 81% chance of rain. It's going to be a wet race. It's going to be a wet weather race. Last year, the temperature, I believe, was more than double. It was like 80 plus. Which for them, it's hot, and also the track temp was very hot, and we all saw how that played out for not only their race, but also for the F1 Grand Prix. It's so crucial that the drivers have to get a wet weather setup correct. So they have to throw everything that they learned out the window last year and focus on what can we do to make this car stable in the wet. And the only thing that they have, I believe, to look back on for a wet weather race, I believe, was last year at Spa. Now I can probably quickly look up that race, so I'm going to do that and make sure that I'm not losing my mind, kind of. And what I mean by losing my mind is that they did run in the wet. But I don't want to look at the incident. And yes, the start of the race last season at Spa, everyone had wet weather tires on. Just a very important thing to look up is, well, that's all that they're going to have. I don't care what they say about it, but that is an important thing to look at. Especially when this was released, when this was released, yeah. But what did Abby Pulling have to say? A lot has happened in the 12 months since I made my WSeries debut at Silverstone last year. But I'm past the point of pinching myself now, and I'm just trying to keep my head down and make the most of the amazing opportunities given to my WSeries and given to me by WSeries and Alpine, which I'm so thankful for. I've matured as a driver and changed a lot, and I've showed that at the last race in Barcelona, that I've shown in the last race at Barcelona, I want to keep coming away from race weekends feeling like I've done as well as I can. When I'm at my best mentally, I perform at my best on track, and the results come. Just like it did in Barcelona, where I drove a composed race. I showed Jamie Chadwick, that I'm not going anywhere, and I want to keep the pressure on her and not give her a break until the season ends. And hopefully I can say this, and hopefully she can walk away with the championship. I'm sure that she wants to add that. But, 37 points is going to be a big thing. And that's, I think, what everybody, not necessarily as a fan, but just everybody wants. They want that upset. They want that underdog story coming from, a young driver coming from behind, being able to knock off the top dog and winning. I mean, that's the thing in sports. Soccer, football, rugby, basketball for, me, NHL, whatever sport it is, fans want to root for that underdog. No matter what they say, they want to root for that. They want to have that underdog story. Golf, for sure. On the British Open, who's going to win the Open Championship? Who's going to win Wimbledon this year? Will it be another, Novak Djokovic, or will somebody come from behind or come out of nowhere like Casper Ruud? Will Casper Ruud end up winning the whole thing? Time will tell. But that's the thing. You're going to get more fans as an underdog than you are going to get more fans as a person who's winning every single race. That's why we saw such a big gap, or such a big change in fandom when Max came into town and when Netflix came into town and all that. Even though Max might not be the best role model for anybody, he's still going to have more fans because they wanted to see Lewis get knocked off, the regular fans. Sadly, it was in the most controversial way possible for him to get a world title, but people might say there's more pressure on me at Silverstone this year because of where I am in the championship, but I don't feel that. Last year I told myself I needed to perform to get a spot for 2022, but now I can focus purely on the job in hand. And that's what I mean about maturing as a driver. I can concentrate on what I need to do on track as opposed to thinking about things I can't really control. I'm still not hugely familiar with the Silverstone circuit compared to others on the calendar, like Barcelona. So I'll take it a session at a time and not overthink things. I like the first sector, and not just because the first corner is called Abbey. It's fast, flowing, and fun. And that combination of corners around Brooklands and Luffield was my favorite in British F4 when I drove the national circuit a few times. I like the technical aspects of it and can't wait to get going. So I forgot, she did drive at least part of this circuit. Something to also note. I think out of most of these drivers, Abby Pulling is used to the wet more than they are. She's driven, what was it, Scotland, which was Knockhill, just a lot of Oulton Park, a lot of different tracks that during that race weekend, it was not sunshine. It was more cloudy, cold, and wet. So she can have speed in the wet for sure. And that's a good thing to look out for. Of course, if you haven't watched last year's Silverstone Grand Prix before this race weekend, I recommend you do. It's all on YouTube, at least in the Americas. We'll see if it is more. But yeah, that's what both drivers had to say about this. They're breaking it down. So it'll be pretty interesting. Now, moving on to the next part, and probably close to the final part of this. So yeah, the next thing to really break down here. Let's just check the latest news one more time. I think there's like one more article actually to look through and just kind of break down and give our opinion of. is, yeah, 27th of June, when I kind of saw this, I meant to kind of already talk about my opinions on this, but everybody's saying that this will be their biggest race yet. And this is, of course, Catherine Bonnier analyzes the season so far and looks ahead to the rest of 2022 and beyond. This is what it's about, by the WSeries media writers. I thank all of them for writing the stories and me being able to read them to the people who, I guess, care to listen to. And I'll be able to give, my take on them just a bit. If you told me when we launched WSeries in 2018 how much we would achieve in less than 4 years, I wouldn't have believed you. COVID threw us several challenges, including no on-track racing in our second year, but you learn to adapt. We've had some fantastic wins since we launched. Really entertaining racing on track, partnering with Formula One, expanding our fan base by over 100%, and being viewed by more than 200 territories globally in 2021, to name just a few, and we're only just getting started. I mean, the small loss that they did was adding Caitlyn Jenner, but that's besides the point. Because just the controversy that Caitlyn Jenner had said before, I think the controversy, has calmed down and cooled off, and we're seeing the team somehow is the best one because they got the best driver. It was fantastic to see the cars back on the grid last year after an enforced breakaway from on-track racing in 2020 due to COVID restrictions. We couldn't have the celebrations that we'd like to have had with guests, fans, and media at WSeries HQ, but this season has a much more open feel, and we started with a bang in Miami. The USA is a huge commercial market for us. We've had a significant spike in interest since our first race outside of Europe and our American debut in the 2021 season-ending doubleheader in Austin, Texas last October. The idea of a women's motor racing series has really captured people's imaginations. I don't know why I stumbled over that word, but really done that. Capture people's imaginations in North America, and with our increased activity in the USA and an American driver, Chloe Chambers, racing with us, we are making a statement that America is a very important market for WSeries. Yeah, if they didn't get a US driver this year, that would have been a big loss. I think Chloe Chambers is a phenomenal driver, especially a fantastic get. Considering there's multiple drivers that they could choose from for that category, and I'm glad they chose somebody that most likely struggling to find a ride for, getting forward for a ride. Another driver that I could think of off the top of my head, driver that I've interviewed before, Zoe Edenholm. Could have been a good get too. Sabre Cook had to not try out again this season due to having to go through surgery. Don't necessarily know what it was, but out for the season with injury. Has gone through a lot of physical therapy and has gone through a lot of but it looks like she's doing fantastic, coaching other drivers, going to Indianapolis when possible, doing everything right that she can to try and still be involved with racing, even though this season has been very difficult for her. We wish her the best on this show and hope she gets back to racing here very soon, maybe next year, or if not, right at the end of this season. The increased interest in us from fans and the media so far this season has been absolutely fantastic. We have a groundswell support from fans who love us and what we've got to work hard at now is increasing the numbers. We really want to build on the US. We need to find our own way of building in the US. We also want to build ourselves as a brand that is known by people outside of motorsport. Non-motorsport fans know what F1 is, and we need to attract new fans to the sport. And that is why I'm here. I love what this company, what they're doing. I absolutely love it. I'm a fan. I'm from the freaking United States. Could be, cool. It's crazy. I love this series to death. I think it's better than F1 somewhat. That's absolutely crazy to say. But it's fantastic. There's something about it that, you don't have anywhere else, and I want it to grow as much as they do. I want it to grow down here as much as they do too, because this is a big market to try and get fans from. And not to mention, and now I guess this is a perfect time, actually, from what we just read here, for me to give my opinion about, Hermanos Rodriguez circuit. Circuit of the Americas, the W Series, being able to go there with the driver lineup that they have right now, with Sarah Moore being openly gay. Imagine if she gets on the podium. This would be huge. Imagine if she ends up winning that race too. There. It's something absolutely ginormous in front of a packed house. The scenes. So, I've talked about this on the soccer podcast that I'm a part of, Down in the Valley. So, I live 10 minutes. Well, not really. Take back all I said there. But I live a good distance from Mexico. Not super close, but not, remotely far. Like, I don't have to get on a plane and fly. Would I ever go there? Still not right now, as sadly it is not the safest place to go to. Which is why I wish everybody, when they go there, safe travels, and I hope nothing bad happens to them. As it's just a very corrupt country, but I'm sure Europeans are used to that or anything like that. Because, or not Europeans, but I've heard stories of, when they said that it's at the worst part in Miami. The circuit is. And then F1, the truck drivers, everybody there has brought up stories of saying in Brazil, you don't know. You can get robbed at gunpoint there and all that. And then it just seemed very minor for them to go there. It was a whole thing. You kind of saw those stories come out. My point to the whole thing of what I was trying to say here is Mexico aren't the most progressive. And it's the same thing in Saudi Arabia. Imagine W Series going to Saudi Arabia. These are just, things that can make the sport grow 10 times more than what it actually is. Make a big statement there. Like, this is a series. This is a racing series. And already, they're making headway in progression. For not only women, but also for LGBTQ+, anything like that. It's been insane, and they still can grow so much more. I love it. But yeah, like I said, Mexico's not the most progressive. They have this chant when a goalkeeper has the soccer ball or football. Put it on the ground. I don't know if you've ever seen this. And then they say the worst thing, one of the worst things you can say. a gay slur. That no matter what, it is... Oh, what's the word? It is translated from Spanish to... It's actually got 3 translations. Your mother, which is only just to avoid their butts from, you know, but everybody knows what it actually means. It means a gay slur, the F word. It's very shameful. It's horrid. That's why it's going to be so special. When Sarah Moore or any of those drivers stand on the top of the freaking podium. Big day at F1. Big day there. And that better be enforced when they're there. If somebody says that, they better be kicked the hell out. I hope just for that race, the WSeries slaps on their pride stuff again for Mexico, for that GP. I got upset. But yeah. It's gonna be exciting. I'm excited for the race. I'm excited for qualifying. I'm excited for what this has in store, and we'll all get to see what happens and where everybody's placed tomorrow when I'm live. Breaking down that instantly, getting it up before race day is going to be big. Just all of it. It's going to be very tough for me to get up and be, and you know, try to make a pre-race show on this early on Sunday. It's slightly possible. I don't see myself going to bed at like 8 or 9 p.m. on Saturday. To get up at like 7 or 6 to talk my butt off. But who knows? Yeah, all right. So before I waste any more time, really, I think that's really all that we have to cover on that note. This was really interesting that popped up today that I want to share, which is really cool. Zach Brown had actually said this. Zach Brown is a Mercedes McLaren. Real quick. I want to get his exact quotes because this is very important. As all the drivers are there at the racetrack, Juju Noda said, WSeries Silverstone this weekend. First ever for me, but hopefully I will enjoy it. That's right, I also have to make my predictions here, so we're going to have to kind of make this last part a little quick. Not too quick. Zach Brown has revealed McLaren is going to review future involvement in WSeries as he expressed the team's strong desire to have more female drivers at McLaren. So that's going to be absolutely humongous. So then we're going to continue on with that, and that is where it becomes this by GP fans. This article written by Sam Hall, Wednesday, June 29th is when he posted this, 2022, 9:30 p.m. or 9:30 a.m. Whatever time it was, Racing CEO Zach Brown revealed the team's strong desire to add another female driver to its roster. New Zealander Emma Gilmer became the first female driver to represent McLaren when she was announced as part of the team's Extreme E lineup. I remember that. In November 2021. Unlike most teams in F1, McLaren does not have an extensive young driver program, but with only British F4 driver Ugo Chukwa connected to the outfit. And I mean, it's mainly true. I would technically say that Arrow McLaren are kind of connected to this team, and yes, as Arrow McLaren are at the top step of IndyCar, which is F1, or which is not F1, which is the highest open wheel in the United States, you can kind of say that, especially for a while, Colton Herta was in the talk to be put into F1 from Arrow McLaren. That was a lot of talk for an American to be in F1 and it be him. If I'm not mistaken, he was with Arrow McLaren. But that was a lot of talk, you know, with that. Or Patricio Award, stuff like that. But asked, so McLaren WSeries team, a possibility. The WSeries has helped to push female driving talent to the fore with its inclusion. Okay, so that's kind of what they're saying. Esther McLaren could back a WSeries team. Brown added, I think we are going to review. We have a strong desire to have more female. Okay, that's the same thing that he said. Basically, the whole headline revolves around that one quote. But the interesting thing about the WSeries, as we talked about, there's only 18 drivers that are able to be in the race at once for WSeries. Maybe they'll add it to 20, who knows, but for now it's 18. There are a couple of teams that don't really have sponsors. You know, Jenner Racing was one that out of the blue came in. They got, Caitlyn Jenner wanted to join WSeries and it worked out. Big get for this company, for this league. But we look at it, Ferrari, I believe, aren't necessarily a part of it, but just a lot of the teams don't really revolve around a specific sponsor or anything like that. Yes, it's money based and all this, but I think McLaren can do it. Take over one of those teams, pay money, and it can work out. Which two drivers would technically kind of be a part of their academy? And there's a lot of drivers that aren't a part of any academy too, and that would be huge. You know, Jessica Hawkins, a big ambassador for Aston Martin. Alpine have Abby Pulling and Alice Powell. Jamie Chadwick has Williams. Sarah Moore doesn't have anybody. Marta Garcia, Belen Garcia, Nydia Marti. The last time that I checked, they don't have anybody, any team backing them. F1 team or anybody like that. They don't. There's a lot of free drivers. Juju Noda, big driver that will most likely be so freaking good. She's in the W Series at 16 or 17, around that age. Basically, she's a young star in the making for racing. That is so exciting. I can't wait. See what happens. Only time will tell what will happen for the W Series. All right, time to make our pick for this race weekend. So we'll get all the drivers here. And this is before qualifying, before anything like that. So, predictions. I think Chloe Chambers will round out the top 10, which is a crazy prediction, but I think she will get 1 point here. First place, it's going to be tough to shy away from saying, you know, Jamie Chadwick's going to win, but I will. Abby Pulling sneaks by for the race victory. Yeah, this is going to be a bold prediction, but also just what I believe will happen. Abby Pulling, Alice Powell, and Sarah Moore will all share steps on the podium. That's going to be first, second, third, Abby Pulling, Alice Powell, and Sarah Moore. Jamie Chadwick just misses out on the podium in fourth. And then it's going to be Nadea Marti ahead of Kim Leiden, Beitske-Visser, I believe Marta Garcia. Or if I said Belen Garcia, maybe I didn't. But yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be Emma Kim Leiden, then Marta Garcia, then Belen afterwards. Then we got Beitske-Visser right there. I believe that's 8th. 9th position before rounding out that top 10. Abby Eaton's going to sneak in that top 10. Or, yeah, it's the 9th, so sneaks into the top 10. 11th place outside the points. Sadly be Abby Eaton. Then Bruno Tomaselli, Juju Noda, and Jessica Hawkins is going to have a bad week then. Bianca Bustamante after that. And Lee Dehus and Babakova. Fabian Volva and Sally will be our DNF. Because remember, it will be rain. Unless I already said Fabian Volva, but I don't believe I did. That's going to be my predictions. I know, very, very out there. But remember, it's a wet race. Anything can happen in that 81% chance of rain. I doubt it changes tomorrow. We'll see with how the weather turns out with qualifying and practice. And we'll get back at you all Friday, like I said, for this, and then Saturday for the race. This will be exciting. Follow me on TikTok if you haven't, Theoverreactedgamer. This is where I will post. That's also where I'll post my reaction to the race. The Overreactedgamer on YouTube, where my podcasts go as well. Hopefully some interviews here soon. And not to mention, follow me on Twitter, JakobYoung456, where I'll get my live takes on the whole race. Let's get up at Jacob Young. Hopefully you all enjoyed another countdown to lights out.